Hey, something that happens to the body after 60 that almost no doctor mentions, and that explains why your knees feel weak, shaky, or unstable when standing up, even if you slept well, even if you did nothing wrong. It is not arthritis, it is not inevitable wear and tear, it is not something that you simply have to accept as part of aging. It is a silent process that occurs inside your muscles without you noticing. A gradual disconnection between your brain and the tissues that should be protecting your joints in every movement. When that communication is interrupted, the knee is left exposed, carrying a pressure it was never designed for, and that is exactly where the trembling, stiffness, and that feeling that your legs need several seconds to wake up every morning are born. The most worrying thing is not the weakness itself, it is what most people do when they feel it: rest more, move less, and avoid activities, believing that this protects their knees, when in reality it is accelerating the problem they want to stop. Because muscles that are not used do not rest, they switch off. And once switched off, the joint works alone, without support, without cushioning, without protection. The solution is not in rest or painkillers, it is in 3 very specific movements that reactivate that lost connection between your nervous system and the muscles that support your knees, movements that you can do today from a chair in your home, without pain and without any special equipment. In this video you are going to understand exactly what is happening inside your body, why your knees behave this way, and how to start reversing it from day one. So stay with me, because what comes next can completely change the way you move from today onward. What no one has explained to you about weak knees after 60 is that the real problem does not live in the joint, it lives in the muscles that surround it. For years, conventional medicine has treated the knee as if it were the source of the pain, prescribing anti-inflammatory medications, recommending rest, and, in the most extreme cases, talking about surgery. But there is something fundamental that is rarely mentioned in that conversation. The knee by itself does not have the ability to support itself. It depends completely on a muscular network that works in the background: the quadriceps at the front of the thigh, the hamstrings at the back, the glutes, the hip muscles, all coordinating in fractions of a second to absorb impact, distribute weight, and keep the joint aligned with every step you take. When that network works well, the knee barely feels the effort. When that network begins to fail, the knee carries everything alone. And that, over time, turns into pain, stiffness, instability, and that frustrating feeling that your legs simply no longer respond the way they used to. What happens after 60 is not just loss of muscle mass, it is something deeper and less visible: a progressive interruption in the communication between the nervous system and those muscles. The brain stops sending clear signals, the muscles stop activating with the speed and precision they need, and the body begins to compensate in ways that seem harmless at first: walking a little slower, avoiding certain surfaces, instinctively holding onto the wall, but that over time reinforce exactly the weakness you are trying to avoid. And here is the part that very few people know, and that completely changes the way you should think about your knees. That process can be reversed, not magically, not overnight, but in a real and measurable way. The nervous system is extraordinarily adaptable. Scientists call it neuromuscular plasticity, and when you give the body the right stimuli, consistently and with the proper technique, that lost connection between the brain and the muscles can be reactivated. Muscles that have spent months or years functioning at a minimum level can switch back on. The joint can once again receive the support it needs, and you can once again stand up from a chair, go down a flight of stairs, or walk a reasonable distance without that trembling, that hesitation, or that constant fear that your legs will fail you. That is exactly what you are going to learn today, not with empty theory, but with 3 concrete, progressive, and safe exercises, designed specifically to reactivate those dormant muscles and give you back something you may have thought you had lost forever: confidence in your own legs. Exercise 1. Quadriceps activation. Before I tell you how to do this first exercise, I need you to understand something that probably no one has explained to you, and that makes this movement make much more sense than it seems at first glance. The quadriceps, that large muscle that runs along the front of your thigh, is not simply another muscle, it is the knee's primary stabilizer. Every time you stand up from a chair, step down from a stair, walk on an uneven surface, or simply get to your feet after sitting for a while, the quadriceps is the first to activate in order to protect the joint, absorb impact, and keep everything aligned. When that muscle works well, the knee barely feels the effort. But here is the real problem. After years of pain, reduced movement, sitting more and walking less, something that happens completely naturally to most people after 60, the brain literally begins to lose communication with that muscle. It is not a metaphor, it is a documented phenomenon that specialists call arthrogenic muscle inhibition, and it occurs when the nervous system, in response to pain or chronic inflammation, involuntarily reduces the signals it sends to the muscle in order to protect the joint. The result is a quadriceps that is there, that physically exists, but no longer activates with the speed or intensity it needs. And when that happens, the knee is left exposed, working without its main support cable, carrying a pressure it was never designed for. That is what you feel when your legs take several seconds to respond in the morning, when the trembling appears as you stand up, when you feel that your knees are there but not entirely with you. That is why this first exercise, although it may seem too simple to be effective, is actually the most important starting point of everything you will do today. Sit near the edge of a firm chair, not sunk into the sofa, but with your back straight and your feet completely supported on the floor. Now slowly extend your right leg forward, allowing your heel to rest lightly on the floor with your toes pointing toward the ceiling. From that position, tighten the front of your thigh, as if you wanted to push the back of your knee downward, toward the floor. You are not forcing anything, you are not moving anything. You are simply waking up that muscle with a controlled and conscious contraction. Hold that squeeze for a full 5 seconds, breathing normally. Many people hold their breath without realizing it, and that reduces blood flow right when you need it most. Then slowly release, rest for a second and repeat. 10 repetitions on that leg, then switch to the other side. What is happening inside your body during this movement is more important than what can be seen from the outside. Every time you contract the muscle, you are sending an electrical signal from the brain to the muscle fibers, reminding them that they are still there, that they are still needed, that the body still trusts them. It is literally like restoring a connection that had been cut off. Many people feel that muscle active for the first time in years with this simple movement, and that sensation, although small, is the first real step toward knees that begin to feel like yours again. Exercise 2. Sit to stand strengthener. There is something that very few people dare to admit out loud, but that thousands of adults over 60 experience every day in silence. The most feared moment is not running, it is not climbing a mountain, it is not doing intense exercise. It is standing up from a chair, that specific instant when the body has to go from sitting to standing, when getting up from the sofa after watching television, when leaving the bathroom, when trying to stand after eating, becomes over time a moment of uncertainty, tension, sometimes even fear. And what is most revealing is that this problem appears before any other mobility limitation, because the body loses what specialists call transition strength, the specific muscular ability to change positions, much more quickly than the strength needed to walk or remain standing. In other words, you may still be able to walk around your house with relative comfort and yet feel that standing up from a chair requires a disproportionate effort, that your knees creak or tremble at that critical moment, that you need to hold on to something to complete the movement. That is not general weakness, it is a very specific loss of strength in a very specific movement pattern, and the reason it happens is clear. If we do not train that pattern directly, the body simply loses it. Muscles that do not receive the necessary stimulus do not maintain themselves, they progressively switch off, and with them confidence in that movement also disappears. What begins as a small discomfort when standing up ends up becoming something that reorganizes your entire life without you realizing it. You begin choosing higher chairs, you avoid certain sofas, you unconsciously calculate where to sit according to how easy it will be to get up afterward. Your world gradually becomes smaller, not all at once, but centimeter by centimeter, decision by decision. That is why this second exercise is not simply a strengthening movement, it is a direct retraining of the pattern that your body has been avoiding, done in a safe, controlled and progressive way. Sit near the edge of a firm and stable chair, with your feet separated approximately hip-width apart. Now move your feet slightly backward, so that your heels are directly beneath your knees, not forward, not in an extended position, but directly underneath. This is crucial because it completely changes the mechanics of the movement. With the heels properly positioned, the weight is distributed correctly and the knee no longer receives unnecessary stress when standing up. From there, lean your chest forward just enough so that your nose moves over your toes. Do not hunch, do not bend over, just lean forward with a straight spine as if it were a board tilting in a single block. Press your heels firmly into the floor and rise slowly, imagining that the muscles of your thighs and hips are working together like an elevator, lifting your body in one smooth and controlled movement. Pause for 1 second at the top, fully standing, and then, and this is the part that matters most, lower yourself back to the chair with complete control, without dropping yourself, without surrendering to gravity. Slow, deliberate, with the muscles working actively throughout the entire descent. That moment of lowering is where the real magic happens, because when your muscles decelerate the movement instead of abandoning it, they are acting exactly like the brakes of a car, absorbing the force before it impacts directly on the joint. Over time, that muscular control is what makes standing up stop feeling unstable, what makes the knees stop trembling during the transition, and what allows your body to regain that basic sense of security that you miss so much. Exercise 3. Supported mini squat. There is a pattern of loss that occurs so gradually that most people do not notice it until it is already deeply embedded in their daily lives. It is not the inability to run, nor to lift weight, nor to do something extraordinary. It is the silent loss of the most ordinary movements, bending down to pick something up from the floor, reaching down to get a pot from the lower cabinet, getting into the car without holding onto the door frame, putting on your shoes without needing to sit down first. The body does not lose these movements all at once, it avoids them one by one, almost imperceptibly, every time the knees send a signal of instability or discomfort. And the brain, which is designed to protect you, quickly learns the lesson: if that movement hurts or creates insecurity, it is better not to do it. The problem is that every time you avoid a movement, the muscles that support it weaken a little more, the balance sensors inside the joint become a little less precise, and the fear of that movement grows a little more. It is a cycle that quietly reinforces itself until one day you realize that you have spent months without bending down confidently, without bending your knees beyond a certain angle, without moving freely within your own home. And the most important thing you need to understand is this: it is not that your body can no longer perform those movements, it is that it stopped practicing them, and with that it lost the neurological confidence to execute them safely. Your joints contain small sensory receptors called proprioceptors, internal sensors that inform the brain in real time about the position, angle, and stability of each joint. With age and inactivity, those sensors become slower, less precise, less reliable. And when the brain does not receive clear information about where the knee is and how much weight it can support, it responds with the only thing it has available: caution, stiffness, and avoidance. That is the true origin of that fear of bending down that so many older adults feel, but that very few are able to explain in words. This third exercise exists precisely to interrupt that cycle, not with an aggressive movement or a deep squat, but with something deliberately small, safe, and extraordinarily effective for reactivating everything your body needs to recover. Stand in front of your kitchen counter or a sturdy table that does not move, and place your hands lightly on the surface, not to lean your weight on it, but to have a reference point that tells your nervous system that support is available if you need it. That small signal of support reduces the activation of the brain's alert system and allows the body to move with more freedom and less tension. Place your feet approximately shoulder width apart, keep your chest upright and relaxed, and from there bend your knees only a few centimeters while gently pushing your hips backward, as if you were going to sit in a chair that is far behind you. You do not need to go down much. For many people, 5 or 10 centimeters of descent is completely sufficient at first. Pause for 1 second in the lowest position and then rise slowly, pressing your heels firmly against the floor. Here is the most important correction in the entire exercise. Most people, without realizing it, transfer their weight toward the front of the foot when lowering, loading the toes instead of the heels. That small mistake changes the entire mechanics of the movement and directs unnecessary pressure straight to the knee. Keep your heels rooted to the floor as if they were anchors, and you will immediately feel how the work is redistributed to the thighs, hips, and glutes, exactly where it should be. Move more slowly than seems necessary to you, because that reduced speed is what activates the proprioceptors, recalibrates the balance sensors, and teaches the brain to trust the joint again during the bending movement. With consistent practice, something remarkable begins to happen. Bending down stops feeling like a threat. There is something that makes an enormous difference between people who do these exercises for a week and then abandon them, and those who practice them for a month and begin to notice real changes in their daily lives. and it has nothing to do with strength, age, or how damaged the knees may be. It has to do with the frequency and consistency of the stimulus. The neuromuscular system, that connection between the brain and the muscles that we have been working on in the previous 3 exercises, is not rebuilt with long and intense sessions once a week. It is rebuilt with small, repeated and regular signals, like recharging a battery that has been discharged for a long time. The ideal approach is not to set aside an hour of the day to do these movements all at once, but to integrate them into moments that already exist in your routine. You can do the quadriceps activation while sitting during breakfast or while watching the news. The sit-to-stand exercise can be practiced every time you get up from any chair during the day, simply by doing it more slowly and with more awareness than usual. The supported mini squat works perfectly while you wait for water to boil in the kitchen or while brushing your teeth in front of the sink. You do not need more time, you need more moments. And when the body receives that stimulus several times a day, even in small doses, the nervous system begins to consolidate those muscular connections much more effectively than with a single long and exhausting session. The second element that very few people consider, and that can completely accelerate or slow down the results, is breathing during movement. It seems like a minor detail, but it is not. When the muscles are weak or the joint feels unstable, the body automatically activates a tension response that includes holding the breath, clenching the jaw and tightening the shoulders. That generalized tension reduces blood flow to the muscles you are trying to activate, decreases the sensitivity of the proprioceptors and makes the movement feel more difficult and less safe than it really is. The solution is so simple that it is hard to believe. Exhale during the part of the movement that requires the greatest effort, when standing up, when rising, when squeezing the muscle, and inhale during the return or relaxation phase. That conscious breathing not only oxygenates the muscular and joint tissues more effectively, but also activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is literally the biological lever that tells the body it is safe to move. Over time, breathing correctly during exercise becomes a tool that improves coordination, reduces the perception of effort and makes every repetition more productive. 2 simple things: consistency integrated into your daily routine and conscious breathing during movement, can double the results of these 3 exercises without adding a single extra minute to your day. What you have just learned today is not just another exercise routine that you are going to forget tomorrow. It is a completely different way of understanding what is happening inside your body, and more importantly, what is still possible to do about it. Weak, shaky, or unstable knees after 60 are not a sentence. They are a signal that certain muscles have stopped receiving the stimulus they need, that certain connections between the brain and muscle tissue have been quietly switching off over time, and that with the right movements, applied with consistency and patience, that process can be reversed. You do not need a gym, you do not need special equipment, you do not need to be an athlete or have exercised your entire life. You need to start today, with what you have, from where you are. A single exercise performed with awareness and repeated regularly is already a powerful message that you send to your nervous system. This body still moves, these muscles still respond, this life still has mobility. And that message, over time, changes real things: the way you get up in the morning, the confidence with which you walk down a flight of stairs, the freedom with which you move around inside your own home. So now I ask you something very specific. Do not close this video without leaving your comment below. Tell me which of these 3 exercises you are going to start practicing today, and which daily activity you most want to regain. I personally read every comment and they help me create the exact content that you need. And if this video provided you with something valuable, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell, because this is only the beginning of everything that is coming. Your body and your health will thank you for it. Thank you for watching this video and see you soon.